Welcome back to the Graphite Curve Studio. Today I will be making my first ever purpose-built tutorial. So before we start, like this video if you do, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so that you never miss an episode. We are going to be drawing a woman from behind. We'll start with a circle to begin the head. She'll be facing away from us, so just the edge of her face is necessary. A circle on the side of the ball to inform us where the ear goes. Halfway through the circle is a line for the top of the ear. Draw a line down the center of the back of the ball. Remember, she's facing away from us. One across. Remember, it's okay if this one's a little messy and loose, because a lot of these lines will be erased and covered up. Continue the center line down. This will indicate the back of the neck, and a line across for the shoulders. Use the width of the head, or in this case the ball, and measure from the center line to find the width of one shoulder, then the other. A simple triangle for the neck muscles. The center of the ball and the length of the head will get us started on a ponytail. An ellipse or a long circle will hold this place for now. Bring the center line down, as we'll need it for the rest of the body. Two circles on the end of this line will give us our shoulder joints. The distance between the top of the head and our new line gives us a good distance to the waist. Two lines to indicate the chest, and one to connect the shoulders. A line from the shoulder down into the left will indicate about where our arm will go. We'll put a circle at the end for the elbow, and use this distance to find where the hand goes. A horizontal line, which we'll use later, from the bottom of the hand to the other side of the page. Take the distance from the shoulder to the elbow and do the same on the other side. This will give us her other arm. Continue the center line down. Use the length of her waist to get a rough indication of where the outermost part of her hip goes. Use the horizontal line from earlier. Do the same to the other side. Draw a circle, one on each side of the center line, to the hip line. These will be her buttocks. We will connect the center line at a curve, because her hips are rotated to the right. We will connect the hips to the waist. Remember to keep these lines light. Continue the center line. This will be the division of the legs, and both hip lines will taper towards the center to indicate her thighs. I'll fix my line here as it didn't curve out enough. The two curved lines indicate the shadow shape created by the buttocks. Around the neck will indicate the tank top, and place the lines for the armholes. Then the line for the bottom of her top. We'll use these curved lines to indicate her underwear, which begins around her waist. And this is thong underwear, so there isn't much to draw. Lucky for us. We'll use an ellipse for upper arms, and lines for the forearm. Congratulations, you have the foundations of a woman drawn from behind. To continue, we'll work on details, starting with the head. We'll lighten the area with an eraser. We'll add in these curves for bangs and her hair. Here I work on the shape of the ear. A moon shape for the scrunchie in her hair. A random curved line gives us the outline of her hair. Following the curvature of the ball we started with will give us the direction of her hair. We'll add lines to structure the ponytail. Always remember to clean up stray lines that you don't need, and darken the ones you will keep. We'll use curved lines to indicate the direction and flow of her hair. Clean up the hair and the head, and we'll begin filling in her hair. This will simply be lines that follow the contours we drew earlier. We'll do the same for her bangs. From the back of her ear to the top of her head, we'll use an eraser to create highlights, short strokes in the same direction of the hair. Be sure to keep your drawing clean. I suggest using a drafting brush or a large makeup brush, but please don't wipe with your hand, this leaves oils on the paper. And don't blow them away, as this will leave water droplets on your artwork. We'll use a mechanical pencil with a darker lead, in this case 2B, to further darken the hair. I like brunettes, so we'll darken. If you like blondes, just leave it as it is. We are just darkening the lines that we didn't erase, and adding some new ones within the highlights. We'll do the same, following the contours we created. We'll place some random curves to replace the hair tie. With our 2B pencil, we'll fill in the ponytail, following the contours we drew before. And an eraser for the highlights. The light is coming from the top right, so we add highlights to the right side, and refill some of the areas with HB pencil, followed by shadows in 2B. Continue until your desired darkness. We'll add more hair until we reach the bottom of the head. To begin adding tone to the skin of the head, we'll be using a number 2 pencil. And continue down the neck. Remember that the light is coming from the top right, so there will be shadow behind the chin. Now it's time to finish the ear with a shadow. Remember to clean any stray marks. We fill in the shadow behind the jawline. I'll draw a circle to add an earring, and remember where our light is coming from. We'll begin on the upper back by lightly erasing the construction lines. I'll measure to choose which lines to keep and redraw them, with a hint of her top. Here I'm just solidifying the construction lines of the shoulder joints. These circles and lines will be used to define the armholes of the shirt. We'll begin defining the right arm. This one is held in front of her. We'll only be able to see the elbow and the slightest bit of forearm. We'll use the previous construction lines to draw the line that defines the axilla, or the armpit. Then, because this would make an enormous arm, we'll move all of our lines over to the right by rotating the arm. Simply copy your previous lines to the new angle and erase the old one when you're done. Here I indicate that the figure should have a contrapposto posture, and I put lines to show how. Here I notice that the arm doesn't appear as it should. Remember, you can always continue to move lines around until you're 100% pleased or close to that. If you're not 100, then keep working. I've had works where I wasn't completely happy with the line drawing and still kept going. TLDR, it didn't turn out well. And it's one I plan on going back to fix in the future. So don't forget to subscribe if you want to see when that happens. Time to start detailing the upper back. We'll use our number 2 pencil to fill in the shadow. Normally I would use Faber-Castell pencils for this, but I wanted to make this accessible to anyone, and it's easier to find a number 2 pencil. We'll add to the shadows behind the neck. Because of our light source, the shadow on the left should be darker than the shadow on the right. There is a bit of highlight on the shoulder, so we just won't darken this as much. And add shadow to the left arm. We'll place the shadow cast by her arm and her elbow. With most of the upper portion done, we'll move the forearm and hand over to their new positions. Erase the old one and work the shadows of the upper arm. We're going to leave the hand unfinished, partly because little construction areas like this make viewers think that you're cool. And I'll show this in a future video. And partly because I'm neglecting my responsibilities, so don't tell Sam. Here we'll define the line of the bottom of the shirt and put in the line indicating the spine. Remember how she's supposed to be contrapposto? This means we need to change the direction of the thong. We can start by erasing. We'll move the left side up and the right side can stay. We'll replace the triangle. Because we're moving the hips, this means that the buttocks need to move too. To continue, we rough out the cheeks until we're pleased, 100%, remember? With these lines in place, we work on the lower back. We'll start with light shading all across the back. And remember our light source. This means that the left side will be darker than the right. There's a bit of highlight on the left side middle, and the right side middle is darker. This gives us the illusion of form. We'll clean the lower back and return to finish the shirt. With all the shadows in place, we can now see how light this white shirt should be. We start with lines to indicate folds. And vertical lines to indicate the texture. I increased the length of the ponytail here. You don't have to. It's a stylistic choice. And it'll save on having to put in more work on the t-shirt. We'll use the same technique as we did before. We add shading to this shirt, remembering our light source. You can tell that my ADHD is acting up, because I'm all over the place, even in this structured tutorial. Here we add to the shadow, cast from our arm and elbow. We begin the thong and clean up the cheeks. We'll start with the darkest line, that being the leftmost side. And start shading on the left side. Always remember to start slow and take your time. If you're not happy with it, change it. This is your drawing. With some shading in place, we move to the right side. This side is the lightest because of our light source. We'll use a kneaded eraser to keep things light. Darken the crease again and add vertical lines for texture on the underwear. Small lines will represent the light shadows. The space between her legs is the darkest part, so we need to use a gradient to show the form of her thighs. Remember to always take your time and not to rush. If you want to see a tutorial on how to draw a woman from the front, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to put the date on this if it's in your sketchbook. You can always look back one day and see how far you've progressed. And if you want to see how good I can make a drawing when I don't have to teach, you can check out this video. Take care, and God bless.